Chapter 1. The Night I Died. Blood fills my mouth. I can't breathe right. My wrists burn against the rope. Turn the camera higher, Lin Zhao says, voice lazy. I want his face clear when he begs. I try to lift my head. My eyes find Gu Qingwan. She stands 3 steps away, phone steady in her manicured hand, red lips curved like this is the best movie she's ever watched. Qing. My voice cracks. We've been married 12 years. Please. She laughs once, short and sharp. 12 years of carrying dead weight. Look at you, Lu Sun. Still thinking you're somebody. I look past her. Tianyi and Yen Yen stand in the corner. My son is 12, my daughter 9. They don't cry. They just watch. Tianyi, I rasp. Son, tell mommy to stop. Tianyi turns his face away. Yen Yen whispers, he's not my dad anymore. Lin Zhao walks over and pats their heads like they weigh you pet dogs. Good kids. Your real dad is right here. Real dad. The words hit harder than the kicks earlier. I cough blood onto the floor. Qingwan, I gave you everything. The company, the houses, my whole life. You gave me nothing, she cuts in, stepping closer. Her perfume is the same one I bought in Paris. You were the ladder. I climbed. Now I kick it away. She leans down. I think for one stupid second she'll kiss me goodbye. She spits in my face instead. The saliva mixes with blood and slides into my eye. Lin Zhao raises the metal pipe. Any last words, Butler Lu? I look at my children one more time. They don't look back. The pipe comes down. White light explodes. Then, nothing. Then, silk sheets under my fingers. I gasp and sit up. My chest is whole. No blood, no rope. Sunlight pours through familiar curtains. The bedroom. Our wedding anniversary bedroom. The clock says 7:12 a.m., exactly 5 years earlier. Today is the day she brings Lin Zhao home for the first time and asks for divorce. I hear heels in the hallway. The door opens. Gu Qingwan walks in wearing the white dress I bought her last week. She looks younger, colder, beautiful the way knives are beautiful. She stops when she sees me awake. Lu Sun, we need to talk. I stare at her. My throat still remembers the taste of blood. She crosses her arms. I'm in love with someone else. I want a divorce. In my last life I cried, begged, got on my knees. This time I smile. The smile feels strange, like it belongs to someone crueler. Okay, I say calmly. We'll sign the papers tomorrow. Her eyes widen. What? I said okay. I stand up, walk to the window, look out at the garden I paid for. Marry him. Be happy. You, she steps closer. You're agreeing? Just like that. I turn. My voice is soft, almost kind. Why not? You deserve to be with the man you love. She searches my face for the joke, the trap, the tears. She finds nothing. You're serious. Completely. I button my shirt slowly. I'll have the lawyers here at 9. You can take whatever you want. Qingwan's mouth opens, closes. For the first time in 12 years, she has no words. I walk past her. My shoulder brushes hers. At the door I pause. Happy anniversary, Qingwan. Her shocked silence follows me down the hall. It tastes sweeter than revenge. It is revenge. Just the beginning. Chapter 2. The Divorce Gift. The conference room smelled like expensive coffee and betrayal. I sat at the long table with 3 lawyers on one side, Qingwan on the other. She wore the red dress I bought her favorite color, the one I bought her in Paris. Her eyes were wide, waiting for me to beg. I pushed the thick folder across the table. Everything you wanted. She blinked. Lu Sun, what is this? Divorce agreement. Property division. Read it. Her lawyer opened it first, then gasped. Mrs. Gu, he's giving you 99% of Lu Group shares, all 5 villas, the yacht, the private jet, the island in Maldives. He keeps only 1% and custody of the children. Qingwan's head snapped up. What? I leaned back. You heard him. Sign. She laughed, nervous. Are you crazy? You built that company with your own hands. I did. Now it's yours. Happy anniversary, wife. Her fingers shook as she grabbed the pen. You're really doing this? Yes. Marry Lin Zhao tomorrow if you want. I won't stop you. The pen stopped moving. You know about him? I know everything. I smiled, small and cold. I even booked the church you two looked at last month. Garden view, white roses, 200 guests. All paid. Her face went white. Lu Sun. Sign, Qingwan. Or I'll change my mind and fight for every penny. She signed fast like the paper was on fire. The lawyers witnessed. Done. I stood up. I'll move my things to the servants' wing tonight. She grabbed my sleeve. Wait, the children. They stay with me. You said last year they were too noisy, remember? I didn't sign up to be a full-time mother. Your exact words. Her mouth opened, closed. She had nothing. The door burst open. Tianyi ran in, eyes red. Dad, Mom said you're giving her everything. Are you stupid? Nian followed, clutching her rabbit. Daddy, don't leave us. I knelt down and hugged them both. Tianyi fought at first, then cried into my shoulder. Listen, I whispered. Daddy made a mistake. I loved someone who didn't love me back. Now I'm fixing it. Tianyi pulled away. By giving her our house? Our company? Yes. Because money comes back. You two don't. Qingwan stepped forward. Tianyi, Nian, come to mommy. Tianyi glared at her. You don't even read us bedtime stories anymore. Nian hid behind me. You smell like Uncle Lin's cologne. Qingwan's face twisted. You ungrateful. I stood up, blocking her. Don't. They're mine now. Legally. She laughed again, bitter. You think you're hurting me? You're destroying yourself. I looked her straight in the eyes. I died once already. This is just paperwork. Her smile dropped. I turned to the lawyers. Send copies to my email. I'll be in the kitchen if anyone needs me. Tianyi grabbed my hand. Dad, where are you going? To make lunch. Someone has to feed you monsters. He stared at the signed papers, then at his mother. You're really letting him do this? Qingwan lifted her chin. He wants to play martyr. Let him. I walked out. Behind me I heard Nian ask, Mommy, why is Daddy smiling? He looks scary. Qingwan didn't answer. In the hallway, Mother Zhang waited with my small suitcase. Sir, you don't have to. I took the handle. From today, just call me Xiao Lu. I'm the new butler. She started crying. I patted her shoulder. Don't worry. The real show hasn't even started. Inside my chest, my heart was frozen solid. But my accounts in the Caymans just received $800 million. And Qingwan had no idea. Let the game begin. Chapter 3, Butler Lu. I carried the last box into the servants' wing and shut the door. The room smelled like old wood and bleach. I set the alarm for 3 a.m. and lay down on the narrow bed. At 6 a.m. sharp, the intercom buzzed. Butler Lu, breakfast for the young master and young miss, Qingwan's voice said, cold and sweet at the same time. Yes, madam. I pressed the button and went to the kitchen. Tianyi was already at the table, scrolling on his phone. He didn't look up. Morning, Tianyi. Eggs the way you like. He shrugged. Whatever. Nian ran in, hair messy. She stopped when she saw me in the gray butler uniform. Uncle Lu, why are you wearing that? Because Daddy works here now, I said, putting her plate down. She stared. But this is our house. Not anymore, sweetheart. Tianyi snorted. He gave everything to Mom. He's stupid. I smiled like it didn't hurt. Eat before it gets cold. That afternoon, the front door opened and I heard laughing. Qingwan's heels clicked across the marble, then another set, lighter, slower. Lin Zhao. I stayed in the pantry counting silverware. Darling, this is the West Wing. Servants stay there now, Qingwan said loud enough for me to hear. Lin Zhao laughed. Really? Even him? Especially him. Their footsteps went upstairs. 10 minutes later, the master bedroom door slammed. Then music started, loud, moaning music. I kept polishing forks. At 3 a.m. the house was finally quiet. I sat at the tiny desk in my room, laptop open, VPN on. I bought another 0.3% of Goo Group shares through a shell company in the Caymans. Then I downloaded the next batch of Lin Zhao's original designs and the real files he stole from my old hard drive. A soft knock. Mother Zhang stood in the doorway, eyes red. Xiao Lu, you're still awake? Inventory, I lied. She stepped inside and closed the door. I've worked for this family 20 years. I watched you carry Madam home drunk from parties. I watched you stay up with the young miss when she had fever. And now you sleep here? I kept my voice low. Auntie, it's only temporary. This is wrong. She started crying. She brought that man into the master bed already. They drink all day. The children hear everything. I closed the laptop. The children are safe. That's enough. Safe. She wiped her face with her apron. Tianyi threw his dinner at the wall tonight. He said if his father is a dog, he doesn't need food from dogs. My chest tightened, but I only nodded. Mother Zhang grabbed my hand. Leave this house. Take the children and leave. I can't. Not yet. She stared at me for a long time. You're planning something. I didn't answer. She sighed. At least you lost so much weight. She pressed a thermos into my hands. Pork rib soup. Drink it before it gets cold. After she left, I opened the lid. The smell hit me like a home I used to have. I drank it all, then went back to work until sunrise. At 7 a.m. the intercom again. Butler Lu, coffee for me and my husband, Qing'an said, voice sticky with sleep and satisfaction. I pressed the button. Right away, madam. I carried the tray upstairs. The bedroom door was half open. Lin Zhao was shirtless, smoking by the window. Qingwan lay in bed, sheet pulled to her chin, smiling like a cat. I set the tray down. Lin Zhao grinned. Thanks, Butler. Qingwan lifted her cup. Tell the cook I want French toast tomorrow. And don't burn it this time. I bowed slightly. Yes, madam. As I turned, Lin Zhao called, Hey, Butler, shine my shoes later, yeah? I paused at the door. Of course, sir. I walked out smiling. They had 5 years of nights like this ahead of me. 5 years to watch them laugh, drink, spend my money, destroy my children. 5 years to make sure every second of it choked them in the end. I closed the door softly and went to wake the kids for school. Chapter 4, The Children's Hate. I knocked on Tianyi's door with his practice test in my hand. Tianyi, open up. You got 42 points in math. The door flew open. My 12-year-old son stood there, eyes red. Get out, he screamed. I don't need help from the butler. I kept my voice soft. Son, if you don't understand the quadratic equations, I can. He slapped the paper out of my hand. The sheets scattered across the floor. You're not my dad. His voice cracked. You're the dog who handed mom to that man. You're nothing. The slap that followed stung more than my face. His small palm hit my cheek hard. I didn't move. I'm still your father, Tianyi. Father. He laughed, cold and ugly. Fathers don't give their wives away. Fathers don't let strangers sleep in their beds. You're just Butler Lu. That's all you'll ever be. He slammed the door. I stood there, cheek burning, picking up the papers one by one. Downstairs, Nian Nian sat at the dinner table poking her food. I set her favorite braised pork in front of her. Eat, baby. She looked up with big eyes. Uncle Lu, why don't you sit with us anymore? My heart twisted. Because Uncle Lu is the helper now. She pushed the plate away. I don't want food from a helper. I want food from Daddy. I knelt beside her chair. Nian Nian, I'm still. No, you're not. Her voice was tiny but sharp. Mommy said the old daddy died the day he signed those papers. You're just the man who drives the car. She ran upstairs. I stayed on my knees, staring at the untouched pork until it went cold. That night I heard crying from Yen Yen's room. I opened the door quietly. She was curled in a ball, sheets wet, face buried in the pillow. I didn't speak. I just stripped the bed, carried the sheets to the laundry, came back with clean ones. While I tucked her in again, she whispered, I'm sorry, Uncle Lu. It's okay, princess. Accidents happen. She grabbed my sleeve suddenly. Do you hate me? I smoothed her hair. Never. Do you hate mommy? I stayed silent too long. She started crying again. I miss when you were rich. I miss when you carried me on your shoulders. I miss when Tiani didn't hate everyone. I hugged her tight, feeling her small arms squeeze me back for the first time in months. I miss it too, I whispered into her hair. More than you'll ever know. She fell asleep like that, clinging to my shirt. I didn't move until dawn, back aching, tears drying on my face. Morning came too fast. Tiani stormed past me in the hallway. Hurry up, Butler. I'll be late for school. I picked up his school bag. Breakfast is ready. I'm not hungry. He stopped at the front door, looked back. When Mom marries Uncle Lin Zhao, will you still live here? I met his eyes. If Madam wants me to. He sneered. You're pathetic. The door slammed. Nian Nian came down slower, rubbing her eyes. Uncle Lu, can you braid my hair today? The nanny pulls too hard. I sat her on the stool, fingers gentle with the pink ribbons. She watched me in the mirror. Will you ever be daddy again? I tied the last bow. One day, maybe. Promise. I couldn't lie to her. I'm trying, baby. I'm trying so hard. She turned and hugged my waist. I love you even if you're rich or poor. My throat closed. I hugged her back until the driver honked outside. I watched them climb into the car, Tiani staring straight ahead, Nian Nian waving through the window. The gate closed. I stood alone in the huge driveway, hands in the pockets of my cheap butler uniform. They needed to hate me a little longer. If they loved me now, they would become targets later. So I swallowed the blood in my mouth, wiped my face, and went back inside to clean a house that wasn't mine anymore. For their safety, I could lose their love 1,000 times. But God, it hurt worse than dying. Chapter 5. The First Crack. I was wiping the marble counter in the kitchen when the front door slammed open. High heels clicked fast across the floor. Lu Sun. Qingwan's voice cracked like a whip. Where are you? I dried my hands on the apron and stepped into the hallway. Here, madam. She stood under the chandelier in a blood-red dress, holding a stack of magazines. Her face glowed on every cover. She threw them at my feet. Look what Zhao did. The spring collection sold out in 6 minutes. The stock jumped 23% this morning. I bent down, picked up the magazines, and stacked them neatly. Congratulations, madam. Mr. Lin is very talented. Lin Zhao walked in behind her, a glass of champagne already in his hand even though it was only 11 a.m. He smirked at me. Hear that, babe? Even the butler admits I'm a genius. Qingwan ignored him and stepped closer to me. The factory in Suzhou just called. They're delaying the summer line by 2 weeks. Fix it. I kept my eyes on the floor. I'm sorry, madam. I don't work for the company anymore. She laughed, sharp and ugly. Don't play stupid. You still have contacts. Call them. Tell them to speed it up. I can't. Her hand shot out and grabbed my collar. You can and you will. You always fixed everything, remember? When Dad was sick, when the bank threatened to pull the loan, when the designers quit, you fixed it every single time. So fix this. I looked straight into her eyes for the first time in months. That was when I was your husband, madam. Now I'm just the butler. Butlers don't make business calls. Her face turned purple. A vein pulsed at her temple. You think this is funny? No, madam. Lin Zhao laughed louder. Let him go, babe. He's useless now. I'll handle it. Qingwan let go of my collar and spun toward him. You said the suppliers loved you. They do. He took another gulp of champagne. It's probably just a small delay. That evening I was ironing Tiani's school uniform when I heard shouting upstairs. You promised me everything would be perfect. Qingwan screamed. It will be. Lin Zhao's voice slurred. One delay doesn't mean anything. Glass shattered. Then her heels stormed down the stairs. She appeared in the laundry room doorway, eyes red. Lu Sun. Yes, madam. 3 investors just pulled out of the next round. They say the numbers don't feel right. She took a shaky breath. Call them. Tell them it's a mistake. I kept ironing. I don't have their numbers anymore, madam. You're lying. I deleted everything the day I signed the divorce papers. She stared at me like she didn't recognize me. Who are you? Just the butler, madam. She stepped forward and slapped me hard across the face. My cheek burned, but I didn't move. Fix it, she whispered. Please. I bowed slightly. I'm sorry. I can't. Lin Zhao stumbled to the doorway, bottle in hand. Leave the loser alone, Qingwen. Come drink with me. We're winning. She looked at him, then back at me. For 1 second something like fear flickered in her eyes. Later that night I passed the living room. The TV was on, showing the stock ticker. Gu Group shares had dropped 4% after hours. Lin Zhao was passed out on the couch, an empty bottle beside him. Qingwen sat on the floor, knees to her chest, staring at the red numbers crawling across the screen. She didn't see me standing in the shadows. I turned and walked back to the servants' wing. The first crack had appeared, and I hadn't even lifted a finger yet. Chapter 6: The Truth About the Children. My phone vibrated against the wooden tray while I was ironing Tiany's school uniform at 2 in the morning. A known number. I almost ignored it, but something made me pick up. Lu Sun. Dr. Han's voice was low, like he was hiding from someone. We need to talk. Not on the phone. Meet me at the back gate of Renai Hospital in 20 minutes. I glanced toward the master bedroom upstairs. The light was still on. Qingwen and Lin Zhao were laughing about something. I grabbed my coat and slipped out without a sound. 25 minutes later, I sat in the passenger seat of Dr. Han's old Toyota, engine off, windows fogged from our breathing. He handed me a brown envelope without looking at me. You asked for the truth. Here it is. I opened it. 2 DNA reports. My name at the top. Tiany's name. Nyenyen's name. Probability of paternity, 0%. Twice. The numbers stared back like bullets. Dr. Han cleared his throat. I ran it 3 times. Different labs. Same result. My mouth tasted like metal. When? I managed. He hesitated. Tiany was conceived 14 years ago. Nyenyen 11. That means... Before the wedding, I finished for him. My voice sounded like someone else's. He nodded. I'm sorry, Sun. I debated for weeks whether to tell you. I laughed once, short and ugly. 14 years. I raised another man's kids for 14 years. Not just any man, he said quietly. I pulled Qingwen's old medical records from the private clinic she used before you two got married. Lin Zhao's name is on the payment receipts. Multiple visits. Same months the children were conceived. I closed my eyes. The receipts. Say it, I whispered. Dr. Han exhaled. She was sleeping with Lin Zhao the entire time you were dating her. The Gu family was bankrupt. Your startup was the only thing that could save them. Chairman Gu knew everything. He forced the marriage so you would pour your money and your patents into their company. The children were insurance. Insurance. I pressed the envelope against my chest like it could stop the bleeding inside. Sun, he asked. You okay? I opened the door and stepped into the cold night air. Thank you, old Han. Delete everything. No one can ever know you told me. Already done, he said softly. Be careful. I walked home through empty streets. The villa gate creaked when I pushed it open. I went straight to the back garden, sat on the stone bench where I used to read bedtime stories to Nyenyen, and finally let the tears come. Not loud. Just silent, hot, thinus. 14 years of first steps, first words, fevers at midnight, parent-teacher meetings, birthday cakes, hugs that smelled like baby shampoo, none of it mine. I cried until my throat burned. Then I heard small footsteps on the grass. Nyenyen stood there in her pink pajamas, rubbing her eyes. Uncle Lu? Why are you crying? I wiped my face fast. Nothing, baby. Mosquito got in my eye. She patted over and climbed into my lap like she did when she was 4. You're you sad because mommy doesn't love you anymore? Her tiny arms went around my neck. I almost broke again. Mommy says you're stupid for giving her everything, she whispered. But I think you're the best daddy in the world. Daddy. I held her so tight I was scared I'd hurt her. Go back to bed, sweetheart. It's cold. She kissed my wet cheek. Night, Daddy. She ran inside. I stayed on the bench until dawn, envelope crushed in my fist. When the sky turned gray, I stood up. The tears were gone. Something colder had taken their place. Blood debt must be paid in blood. And I was just getting started. Chapter 7. The collapse begins. I sat on the narrow bed in the servant's wing, phone in hand, watching the news alerts explode one after another. Breaking, Lin Zhao's entire spring collection proven to be plagiarized from obscure Korean designers. Luxury brand Zhao & Gu loses 87% of market value in pre-market trading. Major investor Su Wei withdraws funding, demands immediate repayment of 400 million. My finger hovered over the screen. I pressed send on the last anonymous email 10 minutes ago. Now the world was burning, and I felt nothing but cold satisfaction. The door to my room slammed open without a knock. Gu Qingwan stood there in a silk robe, hair messy, mascara running down her cheeks like black rivers. Lu Sun. Her voice cracked. Fix this. Right now. I didn't stand up. Good evening, madam. It's 2 in the morning. Don't play games with me. She stormed in and threw her phone on my bed. The screen showed the stock chart, red, straight down. The board is calling an emergency meeting tomorrow. Su Wei wants his money today or he'll sue us into the ground. Do something. I looked at the chart, then at her. I'm only the butler, madam. Butlers don't handle 400 million debts. She grabbed my collar with both hands. Stop calling me madam. You did this, didn't you? You leaked those files. I met her eyes calmly. I've been polishing shoes all week. How could I leak anything? You hate us that much? She screamed. You want to watch us die? I watched myself die once already, I said quietly. You were holding the phone filming it. Remember? Her hands shook. She let go and stumbled back. That hasn't happened yet. In my head it has. Every night. She covered her face. Please, Lu Sun. One last time. You always fixed everything. Just call your old contacts, delay Su Wei, anything. I stood up slowly. My old contacts don't answer to butlers. She dropped to her knees, Gu Qingwan, the proud heiress, on the dirty floor of the servant's room. I'm begging you, she whispered. I'll lose the company, the house, everything. The children. The children will be fine, I cut in. They have a father now. Ask Lin Zhao to save you. Lin Zhao is drunk in the bathroom throwing up, she shouted. He keeps saying it's over, that Su Wei will kill him. Then maybe he should have designed his own clothes instead of stealing them. She lunged forward and slapped me hard across my face. The sound echoed in the tiny room. I didn't move. I didn't even blink. The slap didn't hurt. Nothing physical could hurt anymore. She stared at her hand like it belonged to someone else, then at my cheek that was already turning red. I'm sorry, she sobbed. I'm so sorry, Lu Sun, please. Madam, I said, voice flat, please ask your husband for help. I have to be up at 5 to make breakfast for the young master and young miss. She cried harder than I'd ever heard her cry, even harder than the night I died in that warehouse in my last life. Shoulders shaking, nose running, makeup everywhere. I was wrong, she choked out. I never should have. Good night, madam. I stepped around her, opened the door, and held it wide. She crawled out on her knees, still crying, robe dragging on the floor. I closed the door softly, leaned my back against it, listened to her sobs disappear down the hallway. Then I opened my phone again. One new message from Secretary Chen. Phase 2 ready on your command, Chairman. I smiled for the first time in months. Execute, I typed back. Outside, the Gu Empire kept falling apart, brick by brick. And I just stood there in the dark, listening to the most beautiful sound in the world. My ex-wife crying for the life she threw away. Chapter 8. The Power Shift. The elevator doors slid open on the 32nd floor. I stepped out in my black butler suit, white gloves still on, the silver tray in my hand empty except for one envelope. Security didn't stop me. They never do when you look like staff. Inside the boardroom, all 20 directors were already shouting Qingwan's name. She sat at the head of the table in a red dress, Lin Zhao beside her like a proud peacock. When the doors closed behind me, the noise died. Qingwan's eyes narrowed. Lu Sun? Why you here? I told you to stay home with the children. I placed the tray on the table and bowed exactly like a servant should. Madam asked me to bring tea. I brought something better. Lin Zhao snorted. Get up, Butler. Adults are talking. I smiled, took off the gloves, and opened the envelope. Emergency shareholder meeting, item 1. Vote to remove Chairman Gu Qingwan and Vice Chairman Lin Zhao for gross misconduct. I call the vote. Director Wang blinked. You don't have the shares for that. I slid the share certificates across the glass. 1% from the original divorce settlement. 48% purchased through Cayman holding companies over the last 10 months. Total, 49%. Largest single shareholder. Meeting is mine. You could hear a pin drop. Qingwan stood up so fast her chair rolled back and crashed. Impossible. You had nothing. You signed everything away. I signed what you saw, I said quietly. I never signed what you didn't. Lin Zhao's face went white. This is fraud. I'll sue. Page 7, I interrupted, pushing another folder forward. Your signature authorizing the transfer of design patents that were never yours. Plagiarism carries criminal charges, Mr. Lin. Director Li, the oldest on the board, cleared his throat. All in favor of removing Chairman Gu and Vice Chairman Lin? Every hand went up except Qingwan's and Lin Zhao's. Qingwan's voice cracked. You can't do this to me. I built this company. No, I said. I built it. You just let you put your name on the door. I turned to the doors. They were already open. Tianyi and Yin stood there with Mother Zhang, eyes huge. Tianyi's mouth hung open. Dad? The word hit me harder than any punch. I knelt so we were eye level. Yes, son. Daddy's home. Yin ran first, crashing into my chest. Daddy, you're not the butler anymore? I hugged her so tight my arms shook. Never again, princess. Tianyi stayed back, fists clenched. You let Mom throw you away. You let us hate you. I know, I whispered. I had to keep you safe until I could take everything back. I'm sorry it took so long. Qingwan screamed, Lu Sun. Look at me. After everything I stood up, still holding Yin's hand. Meeting adjourned. Security will escort Mrs. Gu and Mr. Lin out. Permanently. 2 guards appeared. Lin Zhao tried to run. They caught him by the collar. Qingwan just stared at me, mascara running black rivers down her cheeks. You won, she said, voice breaking. Happy now? I looked at my children, then back at her. I'm just getting started. The doors closed on her crying face. For the first time in 2 lives, I breathed free. Chapter 9, Their Downfall. The phone rang at 6:12 a.m. I already knew who it was before I picked up. Mr. Lu, Secretary Chen said, voice shaking with excitement. Lin Zhao tried to kill himself last night. Slit his wrists in the hotel bathtub. The maid found him too late to die, but soon enough to save his life. He's paralyzed from the chest down now. I stared at the black coffee in my cup. Good, I said quietly. Thank you for telling me. I hung up and opened the news app. Front page, fashion genius Lin Zhao in critical condition, suicide attempt. Below it, Su Wei arrested for 300 million yuan embezzlement and bribery. His ugly crying face filled the screen. I felt nothing. Not happiness. Not pity. Just nothing. 3 days later the bank seized the villa. Mother Zhang sent me a photo, movers carrying out the white piano I bought Qingwan on our 5th anniversary. The gate was chained. A red foreclosure notice flapped in the wind. I saved the picture and closed the phone. That evening the doorbell rang. I opened it and there she was. Qingwan stood in the hallway of my new apartment, hair messy, face thin, coat too big for her now. Tianyi and Yin stood behind her, holding her hands. My kids looked smaller, eyes red from crying. Lu Sun, her voice cracked. Can we come in? I didn't move. Why? She swallowed hard. We have nowhere to go. The bank took everything. Please. I looked at the children. Tianyi whispered. Dad, we're hungry. I stepped aside. They walked in like ghosts. Nian Nian immediately ran to me and hugged my legs. Daddy, I'm sorry I called you Butler. I was wrong. I picked her up. She was so light now. It's okay, baby. Qingwan stood in the middle of the living room, shaking. Then her knees hit the floor. Lu Sun, she said, voice breaking, I was wrong. I was so wrong. I betrayed you. I hurt you. I let him hurt you. Please, please take me back. I'll do anything. I'll sign anything. Just don't leave us like this. Tears ran down her face. She crawled forward and grabbed my pants. I know I don't deserve it, she sobbed. I know I'm trash. But the kids, they need a father. They need you. I need you. Tianyi started crying. Dad, please forgive Mommy. She cries every night. She says she killed the best man in the world. Nian Nian pulled my sleeve. Daddy, don't be mad anymore. Mommy said she'll never talk to Uncle Lin again. Never. I looked down at Qingwan. The woman I once loved more than my own life was on her knees, makeup gone, pride gone, everything gone. I remembered her voice in that warehouse 5 years from now. You were never worthy of me. I remembered her laughing while Lin Zhao cut me. I remembered my children watching me bleed out and saying nothing. I crouched so we were eye to eye. 10 years ago, I said slowly, if you had knelt like this, I would have given you the world again. I would have died for you 1,000 times. She cried harder, reaching for my hand. I pulled away. Today, I said, I won't even give you a glass of water. Her face froze. I stood up. Take the kids. Stay the night. There's a guest room. Tomorrow morning you leave. I'll give you enough money for a small apartment and school fees. After that we're done. Lu Sun. Good night, Xingun. I walked to my bedroom and closed the door. Behind it, I heard her scream my name once, then start sobbing like the world was ending. I leaned against the door and closed my eyes. It didn't feel good. It didn't feel bad. It just felt over. Chapter 10. My Real Family. The sun is warm on my face. I sit on the wooden bench in the new garden, the one I built after I sold the old villa. Tianyi kicks the soccer ball against the wall, shouting numbers like he's commentating his own game. Nian Nian braids grass beside me, humming. Dad, watch this. Tianyi yells and does a perfect rainbow flick. I clap loud. 10 out of 10, champion. He runs over, sweaty and grinning. You're lying. It was 11. Fine. 11. I pull him into a side hug. He pretends to hate it, but he stays. Nian Nian lifts her grass crown and puts it on my head. King Dad. About. Thank you, princess. She giggles and leans against my arm. For the first time in years, my chest doesn't hurt when they touch me. Mother Zhang walks out with a tray. Lemonade fresh. And cookies before dinner, but don't tell anyone. Tianyi grabs two. We won't. She ruffles his hair. Good boys keep secrets from their aunties. She smiles at me, eyes soft, then goes back inside. I take a long breath. I need to tell you something. Tianyi stops chewing. Is it bad? Not bad. Just true. And late. Nian Nian's hand finds mine. We're listening, Dad. I look at them, really look. 12 and 9, taller every day. You know how I was gone for a long time? How I let you hate me? Tianyi nods slow. Because you gave everything to Mom. Yeah. But there's more. A lot more. I pull out the old DNA reports from my pocket, folded small. These say I'm not your real father by blood. Nian Nian's eyes go wide. What? Tianyi's face goes hard. That's a lie. It's not. Your mom and Lin Zhao. It started before she married me. I found out after I came back. Tianyi stands up fast. Then why did you still? Because you are my children, I say, voice cracking. Blood doesn't decide that. I decided it the day you were born. I decided it again the day I died. They both freeze. Nian Nian whispers, died? I nod. 5 years from the old future, they killed me. Your mom watched. You two stood there and didn't stop it. That's how I came back. God, fate, whatever, gave me one more chance. Tianyi's fists shake. We would never. You were scared. Brainwashed. I don't blame you kids. I blame me for not protecting you better. I opened my arms. I let you hate me so Su Wei wouldn't use you against me. Every time you called me Butler, it kept you safe. Nian Nian starts crying first. I'm sorry, Daddy. I was so mean. Tianyi's tears fall silent. I called you dog. I hit you. I pull them both in tight. And I would take every word again if it kept you breathing. We stay like that until the sun moves. Cookies forgotten. Lemonade warm. Tianyi wipes his face on my shirt. So you planned everything? The company, the money, all of it? Every night you slept, I worked. For this moment. He laughs through tears. You're scary, Dad. Only to people who hurt my family. My phone buzzes on the bench. One new message. Qingwan, I'm sorry. I understand now. Please, can we talk? I stare at the screen. Nian Nian sees the name and goes quiet. Tianyi says, delete it. I press delete. Fuck. Gone. Nian Nian kisses my cheek. We only need you. Tianyi rests his head on my shoulder. Love you, Dad. The words hit harder than any revenge. I close my eyes and feel the grass crown slip. Scars still ache. Nights are still dark. But right now, two small hearts beat against mine, loud and proud. I was reborn to lose the world. Turns out I only needed this garden, this bench, these two voices calling me Dad. And that is everything.